Hi, this is T with TeaQuilts, and I'm here to do a tutorial on a miniature Sawtooth block. That's the star that's inside of this frame here, and I have made this block where it finishes at 4 inches, and I want to show you how to make it. And then as an option, if you want to frame your blocks, I will tell you what I recommend for framing. I'm making mine a different size because I'm using it in an existing project. So let's get started with the block. So for your block, with the miniature, you don't need a lot of fabric. If you have a piece that's 10 inches by 3 inches, then you can make this block. So from the actual star print, you'll need 1 2.5 inch square, and then you'll also need 8 1.5 inch squares. On your background fabric, you'll need 4 2 1/2 inch by 1 1/2 inch, and then you'll also need from the background 4 1.5 inch squares. So I'm just going to talk about the star block for right now, and we will come back and talk about the other fabrics needed to make your frame. So the first step is on the back side of your 1 inch squares of your Sawtooth fabric, your main print. You want to draw a line diagonally from corner to corner on all 8 of those pieces. Then once you've done that, you're going to take your background fabric that's 1.5 by 2.5, and you are going to place your square with a drawn line so that the diagonal is going across the block. So my diagonal line is going across here, and I'm not sure if that's showing up on camera or not. And then you just want to stitch on that line, and then you're going to trim away the excess. So you want to do that to all 4 of your 2 1/2 by 1.5 inch rectangles. And so once you've sewn that, I've gone ahead with scissors and just cut approximately 1/4 inch away from the sides, and I've done that to all 4 of my rectangles. Okay, so then the next step is to just finger press these up. At this point, I don't go to the iron. I just use either a wooden iron, or I just use my fingernail. So I would do that to all 4, and then I want to come back with this 1 inch square, 1.5 inch square, and place that so that the diagonal is going across the same seam that you've just pressed up. And that's actually going to be making your flying geese units when you fold that back. Okay. So when you're completed with that step, you should have 4 units that look like that. And again, I have not pressed these, so I have just finger pressed them open. I'm working with miniatures, so I try to not press as much. Now the next step is to make your block. You want to now take your 2.5 inch square, place it down, and then you want to put a flying geese unit around each side. Like that. And then those remaining 4 1.5 inch squares that you cut, you want to place them into the corners. So that is your actual Sawtooth block. And you will just sew these into rows. So you would sew the first 3 pieces together into a row. You will sew your second 3 pieces into a row, and then your remaining 3 pieces for your bottom row. Then once you sew all 3 of those together, you're just going to connect the 2 sewing lines here and through here to make a block. So then once you've sewn everything together, this is your actual sawtooth block. So now I want to talk about the optional framing that I did. Again, I'm working on a particular project, so I have my framing a particular size to meet with that project. You do not have to cut the same sizes that I cut. If you just want to do a slight floating, you can cut 1.5 inch strips and put that all the way around your block. But I'm working with a project, and so I'm going to give you a size that makes sense to make it a square block, whereas I'm not making square blocks, I'm actually making rectangles. So first thing you're going to need is 2 pieces that are cut 2 1/2 by 4 1/2, and you can place those on your sides. And the reason why you're cutting them 4 1/2 inches is because that's the unfinished size of your block. If your block measures something else, then you can cut these to a different size. And I would recommend that you cut the next pieces 2 1/2 by 8 1/2. Mine's are a little wider. I've cut 3 1/2 inches only because I'm making rectangles and not square. So if you want your block to be square, again, cut these at 2 1/2 by 8 1/2. And then when you sew those together, you will come out with my original block that I showed you at the top of the video, minus this 1 inch here. I added additional 1 inch, 1.5 inch piece actually over there, but you will only be adding top and bottom and not the additional. And again, I have this because I'm working on a different project. So I will sew all of my blocks together, and then I will show you all of the blocks that I'm making in this particular style on my design wall. Bye bye for now.